This video covers the left-hand part for the third page of Red Rose Rendezvous. We're going to start off the page with just one note by itself. It'll be 2 A's below middle C. Our left hand plays a staccato A. Then the right hand takes over for the rest of the measure. Then the second measure of the page has our left hand starting with the little finger on D below middle C. Then this is an eighth note followed by a quarter note, staccato quarter note pattern. So we'll have our eighth note D. And then we go to thumb on A, 3 finger on F. This is staccato, the chord. So then we do another D with our left hand, little finger. Then we're going to another chord, staccato, B on top, G on the bottom. Probably play it with your 1 and 2 finger. So this whole measure sounds like this. Then we're going to do the third measure. It will start with a chord, 3-note chord. It's a dotted half note on the bottom. That's a D below middle C again. Then the top fingers will play half note chord, B on the top with your thumb, and G with your 2 finger. Those are half notes. So all together like this. Then you keep holding the D with your little finger while your top fingers play A and F instead, probably with your 1 and 3 fingers. And that particular chord has a fermata above it. And what that means is you get to hold it as long as you think it needs to be held. It's up to you. And this marks the end of the quicker portion where we had lots of eighth notes. Now we're going to enter the slower portion, which is mostly quarter notes and half notes. So we're starting with now the fourth measure of the first line. The left hand will be playing G, G right below middle C. These are quarter notes. Then it's going to go into the chord, D on the top with your thumb, B flat with your 3 finger, and then we'll play that chord twice. So the whole measure sounds like this. Now the left hand will hop down to the C below middle C. This is another one where it has the dotted half note, but this time there's no chord above it. And then you'll hold the C while your right hand, upper fingers play B flat with the thumb and E probably with your 3 finger. So you're still holding all 3 notes. By the way, there's 3 beats per measure in this song. So that's why that works out. Let me play the whole first line now that we've finished that. So we start with our lone staccato A. That's the first line. You'll notice I played pedal during the last 3 measures of the first line. It does indicate pedal there. Then the second line, it's going to indicate pedal for the first 4 notes. That will be the first measure plus a beat. And then it says no pedal. And then it says pedal again for the third measure plus the first beat and then no pedal. There's 4 measures total in the second line. And it has the same rhythmic pattern twice, even though there are different notes. So, second line, it starts with your little finger on F below middle C. These are all quarter notes. Then it's going to play middle C on the top, A on the bottom, with our upper, probably thumb and 3 finger. Then our little finger goes to D below middle C. This is the dotted half that gets held for the whole measure. Then we add with our upper fingers A and F, probably with thumb and 3. And then we do the same pattern as in the first measure of the second line, all quarter notes. And this will have pedal. It starts with little finger on D below middle C again. Then we go to some chords, thumb on B flat, 2 finger on G, play that twice, and this is pedal. Then little finger will go to C sharp below middle C, it's the dotted half, and holds for the whole measure. Then we add a chord in the top, this is a half note, A with your thumb, G with your 2 finger, and that has no pedal. So this whole line sounds like this. Now for the third line. This starts with your little finger on D below middle C again. This pattern is going to be a half note. Then it's going to add to that a chord, A on top, F on the bottom, probably with your thumb and 3 finger. Then there's a chord arrest, where you don't play anything. Then we're going to go to 2 Ds below middle C. There will be 3 quarter notes. They're all staccato. It's going to walk up from D. So little finger on D, 4 on E, 3 on F. Then we move our hand up till we have the little finger on 2 Gs below middle C. This is a 3 quarter notes, and we do have pedal on this measure. Then we go to the chord. It's D above middle C with our thumb, and B flat with our 2 finger. And the second one, the time you play the chord twice, and the second time it's staccato, and the pedal comes off. It's going to do this again in a couple measures. So this fourth measure of the third line starts with your little finger on C below middle C. This is the dotted half note pattern held through the whole measure, and you add a chord. The chord you add is B flat on the top with your thumb, and E on the bottom with your 3 finger. Then we have our little finger jumps back down to F, 2 Fs below middle C. This is 3 quarter notes, and it does have the pedal. Then we go to the chord A and F with our thumb and our 3 finger. And the second time we play the chord, it is staccato and the pedal comes off. So this whole line sounds like this. This is all of the third line. Chord arrest. That's the third line. Now we have the fourth line. Fourth and final line. Our little finger will start on D below middle C. It's the dotted half followed by a chord pattern. And the chord we add is A and F. That's a half note. Then we go to little finger on G below middle C. Dotted half followed by a half note chord. The chord is D right above middle C, B flat. Third measure of the fourth line, our little finger goes to F sharp below middle C. These are 3 quarter notes. And then we go to, after the F sharp, we go to a chord, D on the top. This is D above middle C, with 3 finger playing B flat with it. Play it twice. Then little finger goes to regular F, and we play the same D and B flat chord. This is F is the dotted half held for the whole measure. Then we add a half note chord D and B flat. Little finger moves to E just below that. Dotted half adds a half note chord, which is C sharp on the top and G on the bottom. So that whole line sounds like this. And now I'm going to play the whole page, the left hand part. Here we go. of the third page.